So I'm learning out. Another one comes into play here on the left. So we've got two now visible. What are they, guys? What are they? Now they meet each other here. And good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Undercover ET. Guys, thank you so much for all the comments yesterday. I'm glad you enjoyed the episode that I put together. It was just an accidental finding, to be honest with you. And I've got a memory like an elephant. I never forget stuff. So when I saw that image, I was like, oh, wow, I know what that is. It looked very similar. It's not exactly the same as the Boogosphere, but you've got to admit, guys, the correlation between that image and the one imprinted on the Boogosphere, along with the fact that it's come from the Bank of England, Rothschilds, elite power, it all sort of points in the direction of UFO knowledge, UFO tech, the must-know knowledge of the world, right? This is if you've got the technology, you've got the power. If you've got the power, you've got the control, and that's what it's all about, guys, hence the control group. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've got to do a follow-up video. Some of you mentioned in the comments who Alan Turing is, and it just hit home with me straight away because, of course, I've heard of the guy that broke the code to end World War II early. I just couldn't join the dots straight away, guys. But Alan Turing, yes, he is the guy that broke the code, which allowed the British effectively to cross the oceans, deliver food supplies to the soldiers and detect where the enemy was and what their plans were. So we do owe him quite a lot. And also, that aside, he's like the godfather of computers. Okay, he made the first real machine that could do this. And he called it the computer. And so this guy is big in the game. No wonder why he's on the back of a note, because he changed a lot. He changed a lot of stuff, and he's part responsible for how society is run today. So we're going to get into it, guys, because it's really interesting. And of course, when you're looking at the British pound note, you've got to take into account the American dollar as well, and what you might find on there. So we'll look at them both, but we're going to dive into Alan Turing a little bit more now. And then we're going to end on some clips that I've taken from outside the window on the new camera, and it's really, really good quality, guys. The clip I'm going to show you, it's two. One of I think it was a Dragon UAP, but just lost a little bit of light. I couldn't get a good sort of focus on the object, whatever it was. But like 10 minutes before, I was getting birds fly through, clear as day. So yeah, really confused. And then we're getting this really wispy object, two of them, seem to be flying in correlation with each other, but I really don't know what they are, guys, so I just need your help on that one. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, but I tell you what, clear as day. Guys, like and subscribe as always. I do need your support. Support the public evidence, support disclosure, and with that said, let's get into it. Alright guys, over to X, and I posted this one this morning, just kind of reiterating on what I showed last night. They say follow the money. When we do, we find all sorts. On Saturday, I checked the £50 bill, and check this out. Similar markings to the Boogosphere, but not exactly the same. Seems too similar to ignore if we are talking elites being part of the control group on this planet. Full video link explaining my findings in the comments, and a follow-up likely. That follow-up is this video, guys. So I hope you are following me on X. If you aren't, you can find the link in the more section below, and I'll leave you my link to my X account there. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is part of the video I did yesterday. You can see there on the £50 note, clearly symbols that resemble the Boogosphere on the right-hand side there. A couple of people in the comments saying, look, the Boogosphere is blatantly fake. My answer to that is you've got to do your research, because there are scientists that have been working endlessly since March, well, about April, on this object, calling in people from all over the world. And it's taken a while to get there, but you know what? If this was fake, they would have known on week one. So that's where I'm at. I'm just a realist. Interesting correlation between the two. And then if we go over to the banknotes of the USA, what you've got here is the all-seeing eye, the Illuminati, or the symbol of, on top of a pyramid. As you know, guys, the top of the pyramids are missing a peak, you could say. Speculation as to what could be on those peaks, if anything at all. But interesting, really interesting photo of the dollar bill. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, guys. Again, I like to ask you because you guys put in the input. I read the comments. Sometimes I pick up on something that's really worth a mention. Now, the Illuminati, they're a mythical group, but everyone knows who they are, right? In reality, they're probably likely going to be the richest of the rich, the people that control and make all the big decisions, the people that control the money, banks, oil companies. You know, they'll fizz down the line and make smaller branches, smaller companies. It's all compartmentalized, okay? And this is what David Grush and others are talking about. When the elites get their hands on so much money, they can really break down what they're hiding into different areas. And it's very difficult for us to know, right? But I can guarantee you there's some big companies that are involved in the big secret. So keep an eye on this image. This is likely going to come up again. And that brings me back to Alan Turing, guys. So this gentleman is on the back of the £50 note, and his story is remarkable. Quite sad as well towards the end. But I'm going to play you a clip now from the University of Cambridge. And yeah, it's a great insight into his life, and he makes a key point in this.
Turing was a mathematician, cryptographer and pioneer of computer science, whose life was one of secret triumphs shadowed by public tragedy. Perhaps known today for his part in breaking the German Enigma code during World War II, Turing was by that time already established as a mathematician of extraordinary capability. Born on the 23rd of June 1912, Turing spent his childhood split between Hastings in Kent and Sherborne in Dorset, displaying a precocious talent at school for maths and science, including condensing Einstein's theory of relativity for his mum at the age of 15.
Condensing Einstein's theory of relativity for his mum at the age of 15. That's mental. What was you doing at the age of 15, guys? I certainly wasn't on this level, and I could have been a grade A student amongst all of my classes and would never have been at this level. So how does someone like Alan Turing or even Albert Einstein achieve what they achieved in such a little time? It bears the question, doesn't it? Let's keep going.
Turing's abilities led him to receiving a scholarship at King's College, Cambridge. He arrived here to study as an undergraduate in 1931. Like many great minds, Turing was never happier than when he had a problem to solve. And in keeping with the exceptional skill and ambition he had already displayed, he turned his attentions to the decision problem, or Entscheidungsproblem in German. Laid out by the legendary German mathematician David Hilbert at the turn of the century, the problem was one of the most important unsolved mathematical challenges for the 20th century. It was here in the spring of 1935, by the flow of the River Cam at Grantchester Meadows in Cambridge, that Turing decided to take on the giants of mathematics at the time. Turing conceived of a hypothetical machine that reads symbols on a strip of tape, rewriting or deleting them based on a finite set of rules. In fact, originally, Turing described a person slavishly performing these operations. He called this person the computer. Given a problem to compute, this machine would either stop and give you the answer, or run forever if the answer doesn't exist. Turing mathematically proved that you can never know if and when the machine will stop. He did this by creating the definitive example of the undecidable problem, an astounding feat that disproved Hilbert's question of decidability, showing that dark areas in mathematics will always remain a barrier to complete truth.
So, yeah, I mean, that's a groundbreaking discovery, really, which would have been challenged by, I guess, the authorities. He's basically saying that mathematics doesn't really add up the way we know it, but he challenged it, you know, essentially. He challenged it by building this system and proving that even putting a computer in a situation where you'd expect an outcome to go a certain way, he's proven that it's not guaranteed to happen. Whilst trying to keep it on layman's terms, guys, he's saying that our maths is wrong. Considering this guy broke codes, or helped break codes to end World War II, and he was a genius of his time, so much so he's ended up on the back of a banknote, right? So really incredible individual. I encourage you to do more research on Alan Turing. So that right there ties into my next piece, and we're going to go on to someone who's even more controversial right now. All right, so we're now at Oxford University, or at the Oxford Union, and Terrance Howard has taken to stage, and he here questions maths outright in front of the students lecturers and teachers. And it's bold, it's brave. To be honest, he has a point. Is this guy just nuts in what he's saying? Or does it tie in with Alan Turing and his method of mathematics? Let me know in the comments.
Make our math works. Like if I said to you, what's 1 times 1? What'd you say, 1? It equals 1? Now what would Newton say is that? Action times an action. That's a reaction, right? Anybody in here that thinks 1 times 1 equals 1, then you give me 2 pounds and I'll give you a pound back. And we'll call that even, right? Because 1 times 1 equals 1. An unbalanced equation. What we need to do is, the first thing in math is you're supposed to have a balanced equation. 1 times 1 equaling 1 is an unbalanced equation. But the identity element, which is like the Jim Crow laws of the 60s, they say that anything multiplied by 1 becomes that same number as itself. Well, the laws of physics has to break down in order for that to take place. Action and reaction for 1 times 1 to equal 1. In comparison to if I said, what's $1 times $1? Anybody know it's $1? Well, what's a dime times a dime, or 10 pence?
10 pence, yeah.
10 pence times 10 pence? That's a pound, right? 10 pence times 10 pence? Is that right, honey? Yeah, yes. What about 100 pence times 100 pence? That's a pound times a pound, right? That's $100, ain't it? What about a quarter? What about 4 quarters times 4 quarters? That's $1, right? That's a pound, right? Well, that's $4. Now, all of these things are legal. The banks can say $1 times $1 is $1 and give you that. Or the banks can say to a friend, $1 times $1 is a quarter times a quarter. It's 4 quarters times 4 quarters, and give that person $4. They can say to another person, $1 times $1 is 100 pence times 100 pence. That person gets $100. So that money is generated. And this is all legal. Do you think it's not happening in the banks? This is what 1 times 1 equaling 1 has got us. This inconsistency of our monies and our economy is sitting in the balance. And the rest of our future is sitting in the balance because our science has been stunted as a result of the problems in mathematics, because math asks for the basic laws of physics to break down in order for 1 times 1 to equal 1. In order for 1 times 0 to equal nothing, laws of conservation of energy has to disappear. And math is the foundating laws of math is supposed to support the laws of physics. They are arm in arm. They cannot be in controversy with each other. So we need an audit on the Platonic solids, we need an audit on the square root of 2, and we need an audit on action and reaction. Or we either got to get rid of, we say 1 times 1 equals 1, and there's no action and reaction.
The man puts up a compelling argument, you know, and it does tie in massively with our topic. You can understand why scientists do not compute UFO evidence, because in their head, literally 1 times 1 equals 1, and therefore it cannot be 2. Same problem we find in mathematics, we find all over the place. Every problem you see in society, whether it be political, social, you know, let's say you've got a problem with your family. Ultimately, if your kids are misbehaving, it's down to the parents. It's down to the one at the top of the tree. If they're misbehaving, it's down to their parents. It's the ones at the very top of the tree. Yeah? It's the same with governments. If the country is failing, likelihood is the ones at the top running the country are just doing a bad job for whatever reason, whether it be corruption, greed, whatever it is. And so if you want to get to the problem, the base issue with physics, it's either going to be at the very top or at the very bottom, at the very start of calculation. And so I agree with Terrance Howard. He's not just putting this statement out there. He's saying, let's audit it. Let's see if we can figure this out, because surely 1 times 1 cannot equal 1 if 1 times 1 should equal a reaction. So it's an interesting theory. It kind of ties in with what I just showed you regarding the boogosphere, the banknotes, the elite, It all ties in, guys. It all ties in. Why are the Bank of England, the owners of the Bank of England, the richest men in the world, why are they in control of how the banking works when the potential numbers aren't even right? It works in their favour, not in ours. And I think the world has known that for some time. They just never understood really why. And it's funny, me and Dr. Shite, we spoke about this just the other day. Talking about, you know, you can have $1 million in your bank account. You can't withdraw $1 million on the day because it's not physically in your bank account. They're lending out 10 million for every million you have. You know, and it's all digital money. They're just making money out of thin air, loaning it to you on the basis that someone else has got more and can cover it. You know, it's crazy stuff, guys. So yeah, look, over my head a little bit, but I can tell you one thing: we are being taken advantage of, and something just doesn't add up. And I like where Terrance Howard is going with this. I like Alan Turing. I love his work as well. I love the fact that we had a great mind in this country who associated himself with Devon, not far down the road from here. I think we owe a lot to these people. It is individuals that make countries great in the end. All right, guys, so let's move on to my captures. Now, I'm going to show you two. One is a little bit out of focus, guys. I don't really get it because there are birds in the clip that are clearly in focus. So we're going to look at that. Maybe I just lost a bit of light and that's why, but still, to be completely out of focus is strange to me if it is a bird. We are also going to look at a very fuzzy, looks like a, I don't know what it is, guys. Very subtle. We're going to go over the clip. I need your help with it. I'm not saying it's a UAP, but it's just over that same area where it had that wave of whatever it was, that white thing that just appeared from the chimney and just was expanded to the width of the house. I don't understand what that was, and I certainly don't understand what this thing is as well. So let me know in the comments. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so this is the clip. It's actually, if I just go onto it there, you can see at the bottom of the screen, it's 39 minutes and 24 seconds long. So don't worry, we're not going to go over the whole thing because it's not extremely busy in the whole clip. But I'm going to show you one or two captures that really strange. Just so happens I was looking at one of them in the moment and I zoomed in and managed to follow the objects for a little while. Really don't know what they're like. The reason why I'm playing you this clip is because I want you guys to see at close range what birds look like. At least on this camera at this time with the light and stuff that I've got, you can see that they're birds. You know, the ones further back, a little bit fuzzy. The ones that are relatively close, you can see they're birds. So I do need your opinion on one object that I'm going to show you at the end, where it zips across. It doesn't resemble a bird. I just need your help with it. But let's go on to the first part. All right, so it's around about 9 minutes. You get a flock of birds come past. Here we go. And I want to show you this because the birds are really clear, right? I just want you guys to know that, you know, the birds are birds because it matters later on. There they go. They zoom past pretty fast, but they have the shape of a bird, okay? So, good stuff. Right, have a look at the bottom around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. There you go. These white bits of fluff. Now, I'm actually at the camera, and I notice these things. So, I point, and I zoom in. Because I'm like freaking out a little bit because I've seen the white circular energy pocket, you could say, appear from this very spot. And it kind of buffed out to the size of the house. Anyway, this exact thing just happened there. Did you see that? I'm just going to go back a bit, guys. There. It's happened again, in fact. See that? This white line here? And it's here as well. You see? And this happened before, but it was a lot clearer. Anyway, let's keep going. Because these white objects that I thought might have just been fluff of some kind, they reappear. And I don't think it's the wind that's taking them. You can see there's a gentle breeze in the air here. Look, this thing's just flown up. So I'm learning out. Another one comes into play here on the left. So we've got two now visible. What are they, guys? What are they? Now they meet each other here. and start floating around each other. It's really, really strange. Really, really strange that they're following each other like this. Look, one's gone down, and now this one decides, I'm going down as well. What's going on? What's going on there? I'll go back over it in a minute and zoom in on the bits that I really captured clearly. I don't know what they are. Is that just debris going through the air? I mean, it's a 39-minute clip. I didn't see anything like that for the whole clip other than that moment. And so it begs the question, doesn't it? What the hell was that? These are cars here, by the way. There is a road here, so you're seeing cars. It's just like a street, so it's not a very busy road, but you are going to get cars go past. And they're giving way to other vehicles as well as they're coming in and out. So, yeah, let's just go back over that moment there. I'm just going in full reverse now, guys. Okay, so this is the moment where... there it is. What is this thing, guys? Just going frame by frame. Now, is that a cloaked craft? And we're just seeing, like, a piece? They're birds in the top right, I accept that. But you see how this thing is just floating? Elegantly? I always use that word when I think I'm seeing UAP. I could be completely wrong, guys. This could be nothing, okay? But for me to have two objects moving like this, why is it glowing? Is that the sunlight reflecting? I'm not seeing any sunlight hitting the roof, so I don't know. It's bizarre, eh? It's really bizarre. Here comes the other one. This is where they kind of meet up. So this is in reverse, by the way, guys. And look at that. What's the chances, guys? Now, look, if there's a current in the air and it's propelling these things through the sky, it may go in a similar direction. But that is some close... That's close, right? And remember as well, over 30 minutes long, I haven't captured anything like this during the whole clip. It's just in this moment. And that one's coming down the tree line. This one's going in front of the brickwork here. Just going frame by frame in case there's a moment of madness that we just missed. This one's just hanging by the brickwork here, and that other one. So I'm obviously this is okay. So this is the first time I notice it, and that's before I put the camera down. This is the very, very start now where I notice something. Yeah. So we get that and that one pop up. It's really, really odd, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Is it just leaves? Is that what it is? You know, why am I only getting two? Why are they floating up like that? And you got to admit, it looks really odd, doesn't it? It looks really odd. One's gone down there, look, and then that one's just poof. Just want to go back up, check that was a bird in the background there. Yeah, it was. What do we think, guys? What do we think? Isn't it weird? how even if it was wind, right, why would both objects suddenly dive down in that moment? This is where I question everything. And because the UAP, you can see there, guys, the second object, there it is. Yeah? It dips downwards in that moment. And then this one decides it's going to hover exactly over where that one dips down. It pops up a little bit and then goes down. Boom. And for me, it almost looks like intelligent movement, guys. Doesn't it? It's following its mate, surely? I can see it. Guys, what is that? And this reminds me, it really does remind me of Dr. Shipe's capture. You know, the one that comes through the floor in the road and then swerves right through the traffic. And it's funny that I've pulled this up because it looks very similar to what Stephen Henchlife has just captured as well on the Facebook group. So, what do we think? Look, I appreciate this is hard. I'm not saying this is a UAP. I'm saying if it is leaves, would leaves or debris in the air act like that? Would they follow each other around? That's my question to you. That's why I'm stuck on it. Let me show you the dragon quickly. Again, I'm just going to let this play on until it crosses the screen. You can see it's relatively bright. I haven't lost too much. I haven't lost too much light at all, actually. If anything, it's nice. And out of all the birds that you saw cross my screen, this thing zips past in a second. Honestly, it's not giving me nothing. But that, right there. What the smeg is that? I've captured these on my live before. But not at any point. I mean, there it looks like a dragon, right? And then it just goes transparent. Just poof. Looks like the blooming magic carpet. I'm half expecting Aladdin to just be sat on that thing. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know what that is. I'm not too sure why everything is in amazing focus and this thing isn't. I really don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on all of it, guys. And I've got so much that I've got to look over. This is just stuff I decided to look over from yesterday's recordings. I've no idea what else I've got over the last 3-4 weeks. I've just been recording, hammering it onto the PC and then recording some more. So loads to go over, guys. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, guys, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Are the Bank of England part of the elite control group, which is linked to the ET phenomena and the technology that we so desire? Is that really the case? It's more likely than not, right? But hey, maybe I'm just swinging for the fence with all this stuff. Alan Turing as well, let me know in the comments about him. If there's any more information regarding Alan Turing, pop it in the comments. I'd love to know more. So guys, consider a membership as well. It really helps me, and also I'm going to pump as much money as I can into your research. So if you guys are in an area where you know you're capturing UAP and you're stuck and you just need something a little bit better to record on, that's what it's all about, guys. Get a membership and it'll help out massively. I will happily donate one phone a month to someone who needs it. If we can get up to around 200 members, that would be brilliant. So let me know in the comments if that's a good idea, or if there are any other great ideas that you guys can come up with. Please let me know. It's all about pushing disclosure, guys. So it's not for me, it's not for my benefit, it's for everyone's benefit. So if you can get on board with that, hit the subscribe button. That is free to do. Support public evidence, support public disclosure. Thank you so much. Take care, all the best, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.